Hello, everybody. Um, yeah, this is sort of impromptu. I was not sure if I was going to be able to do this tonight or tomorrow, but the time made itself available tonight, which is the night of this new moon in Aquarius. So we're going to read some cards and we'll talk a little bit about kind of what's going on. Um, but mostly we'll do like we always do, read the cards and let them kind of shape this video, this recording. Um, yeah, I do want to talk a little bit about, and then we'll also talk a little bit about tomorrow, which is um, the Lunar New Year, so the start of the um, the Chinese New Year of Wood Dragon. Wow, my brain just like totally misfired there. There was no answer coming. All right. Also, I just realized this is like you normally can't see as much as you see on one side. I must have moved my computer into a strange spot. All right. So just a couple things I want to talk about before we get started because I found for myself this last like 2 weeks even have been like very challenging. So I don't know where you feel you are in all of this, but I'm going to share some of my stuff so that hopefully, everybody kind of has that concept of you're not alone. Because I think a lot of the times we feel like we're just going through this or feeling this, um, and it's tough. And then you've got a whole world out there of, if you're trying to connect online to others, and there's just a lot of vitriol going on right now. There's a lot of attacks on each other, and like it's hard to kind of I'm finding the place that I'm in is it's very difficult for me. Like it's been very difficult for me to just to use my discernment because I'm trying my best, but I just feel like there's a lot of people out there lying and causing distraction, purposeful distraction from what's really going on, and so there is that element in the world that needs to it needs to be revealed, discovered, uncovered, whatever we want to say about it. But some of the events that are happening there are distracting us so much that we're forgetting about what's really going on at the root of it, which is, that this ascension process is happening and that um, the energy is shifting. And so we're paying more attention to everything else. And we're not doing our work around um, the ascension and keeping our vibration high, and we're getting really sucked in and pulled into these narratives, which it's kind of tricky because it's like we're kind of like we're in between two realities right now. That's what it feels like, and we keep getting pushed and pulled by by each thing. um, and it's hard to tell what's real, what's not real, what's distracting, what's there to throw you off your game. Um, and I think that's like ends up happening is because we're jumping between these two realities. Um, and I think this is the way it's going to be. Like, we can't stop what's coming in terms of the energy coming in. That's happening no matter what. It's just about what state we're in when that happens. So if we're distracted, it's not that we're going to miss it or that it's not going to happen, but it might energetically take you much more time to align with it and be ready for it because we were so distracted by all these other things going on, um, that we forgot who we really are and what we really should be focusing on. So um yeah, anyway, it's causing a lot of I've definitely felt these things causing a lot of frustration for people, a lot of depression, because it's almost like for me it's like, well, what are we supposed to be doing? Yeah, that's the tricky part. I'm like, what are we supposed to be doing right now? Anyway, um and then in this thing I was reading, it also said it's causing a lot of cognitive dissonance. So, I mean, cognitive dissonance, I'm not sure if I totally agree with that sort of phrasing for it. Um, Like, it's not like, okay, like I just ignore this and I don't have to listen to it because it's not really happening. Um, I don't think it's like that. For me, it's been, and I'll just share again my personal stuff so that you guys can just know if you're feeling the same way, is that it starts to make me question what is real, what is BS. I better not swear. I don't know why. But what is BS? Like, what is being done to purposely distract us? There's lots of it out there. There's lots of it out there. Like, you can just pick one narrative and like run with it. Like, one of them has to do with this Sunday. So, it's like, how important is that stuff? And so, but I mean, curiously, I'm gonna watch because I want to know what's going on. But but part of me is like, should I maybe just not be sitting in meditation and taking care of my needs at that time and not worrying about the outside world? So, and I'm not saying this to, obviously to chastise anybody. I'm saying it to connect, because with you is like, this is the stuff I've been feeling, and it's been very difficult um, to trust this, that there's a plan and it's all working out, and it's like, like, what if this is all just a simulation and BS, and where we're being run by AI, and they don't care that we're just like little ant farm to them, or like whatever it is, right? Those are the things that cross my mind all the time. And it finds it, it disconnects me, though. I can tell what its main goal is. It disconnects me from spirit and soul, and knowing and remembering my true purpose, right? So my advice, and that, this is what I need to follow myself, is we need to make sure, with all the, I'm going to call it exactly what it is, hullabaloo going on around us, that we're still stopping at some point within every day and taking 5 or 10 minutes and connecting back in to source, to God, to whatever you want to call that energy that's coming in, and the consciousness, the Christ consciousness, whatever you want to call it, and making sure that we're still in alignment, that we're keeping alignment, and listening for advice and answers and things we need to do to raise our energy, our frequency, all of those things. So, yeah, basically, that's just my little warning about everything that's going on, because I don't know about you, but when I let it suck me in, that's when I get really frustrated and really depressed. And I'm like, this is all just like, you know, whatever. There's 90 million scenarios that I run through, and they're always worst case, right? They're never best case scenario. So it's a tough line that we're towing right now, and it is very tough to hold the line. But that is really what we need to be doing. So we can work with the energies of these two new things coming in. So, as always, a new year, a new moon, lunar new year. We're always talking about new beginnings. So anytime a new beginning comes up, is that we're really looking at the ability for us to, we're changing and heading into something, again, uncharted territory, new beginnings for us. So it's important for us to pay attention to those, and get the lay of the land and the landscape, and participate actively in manifesting what we want to see in that space, right? The thing that I've been reading a lot about is that, like, we're kind of just in this space right now. I think I talked about this last time, which is what I felt, is that I can feel the energy on the horizon. This is in my mind's eye. This isn't like, you can't see it yet. I'm sure maybe we'll be able to soon. But that when you reach out to touch it or connect with it, it's like going through a veil, like nothing connects, because it's just like, if this energy isn't completely in place yet. Of course, we don't have a marker of time and space about how that's, or when that is. But at the same time, it's like we all collectively know that something big is happening. Something, we can all feel that energy coming in. And we know that like it's about to be life changing. This world will not be the same at the end of this year, is what I feel like. It'll be quite different. Um, and the thing is that it's not predictable. The energy isn't predictable. Where it leads, how we all integrate it. We know none of this stuff. We're in it, and we have to, you know, adapt as we go. Um, the one thing I did like about the year of the dragon is that it does bring in general, it's different for depending on your birth date and your Chinese astrological sign. It does mean, it works differently and brings different things to different people. But the overall theme is about vibrancy and vitality. So bringing those elements back into our life. And the wood part is all about it's the balance of the chi, or the energy in our body. So those are the big focuses for this year. So to me, that really says this is the year to focus on you and making your life more energetically balanced, and really being a vibrant and vitality, having lots of health and wealth in your life. Um, and so that, I think, is the focus of this particular year with the wood dragon. So another thing to just mention is, like, we had two back-to-back X class solar flares, probably about 6 o'clock this morning, I think it was, my time. So there's been lots of M classes over the last couple of days, and a ton of C classes. So there's been lots of activity. There's been lots of earthquakes again. There's definitely lots of shift and movement happening in the energy. So those can result in like physical. I'm seeing it in people in major physical. I don't want to call them ailments, but like the body is just really being like or feeling this next sort of big energetic switch over. So just know that, like, you know, if you're feeling odd aches and pains, again, we just always need to do the things that keep us in our best form, right? Trying to do our best, and you know, lots of salt baths, lots of resting when you can. And like I said, I think it's really important right now that we're connecting in every day. Make sure you're connecting into source every day, just because yeah, the distractions are there to purposely mess that up. And yeah, just don't put yourself in a lower frequency, or stay there for too long, right? It's funny, when it bounced out right when I said lower frequency. So we'll see. This is going to be the overall card for for the coming up this week. Like, I think I'm just going to read this like as these 2 days. So tonight, the new moon. Tomorrow, the Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year. I'm going to include Sunday in that, because I feel like there is energetically something going on Sunday, but it's also like, be careful, because there's also a lot of smoke and mirrors going on at this time too around that. So let's just see what happens. I'm just watching it play out. I don't think anything momentous, but I could be totally wrong. Here's the funny thing, though. All right, I keep doing this. The overall theme for this weekend, with all this energy coming in, is the Judgment card. Now, I always love this one. I awaken to the timelessness of body, spirit, and soul. All illusions are shattered. Sorry. As much as I'm going on and on about, and see, like, this is always like, it's hard to see in this, But these people are actually like, they're kind of jumping for joy a little bit, right? Like the angel has come and like liberation, right? But judgment's an important part of this process, like, because yeah, like you don't get to ascend if you're of low frequency, right? You're not coming along. Like, and I'm not saying anybody out there is. That's not what I'm saying. Just like there's a lot of people in this world that are not passing that judgment stage, right? It's the judgment only is whether you're willing to um whether you're willing to increase your frequency or whether you're happy staying in low frequency. You know, it's yeah, not all will be liberated. Some, there's some people, I hate to say it, it's hard to see. I can't. I hate this. I hate live because I can get it right on my other good. Down the bottom. So these people are kind of like arms up in the air, kind of a little bit of celebration, asking or like ready to be brought up in ascension. You can't see it, but lower in here, there's people and they're kind of halfway up. So they're being pulled into the ground. So, the difference between ascending up and staying stuck and below. We'll just leave it at that, right? So, yeah, interesting. So, if we're going to get biblical with it, which I'm not going to because I am by no means religious, so I don't have enough context in this, but I mean, most of us kind of have a basic understanding of what the ascension / and then like what judgment day means. It means you're willing to accept the light or you're not. That's as basic as it comes down to. So, wow, it could be an interesting weekend if this is judgment weekend. We'll see what happens. I'm making no predictions. I'm just reading the cards. It's kind of a nice, it's an interesting test for me sometimes too, to read this and then see what happens. Just to see. Obviously, we're picking up on something. So, yeah. Anyway, we're going to read now for the moon and just see, like we always do, the 4 sets of cards, see what this moon in Aquarius is really about and what we should be focusing on and looking at, and any advice or actions we should be looking at taking. Yeah, so let's take a look at it. Let's talk a little bit for 1 second though on this. There's a lot of planets in Aquarius right now. So it's really interesting because the other day I read a thing and it's like why astrology does matter. If you're looking out into space, it's like, well, it's just this planet. How does that and the stars possibly affect us down here? And it went back to the whole theory of the music of the spheres, which is the planets. And they all emanate their own frequency. So as they're in different alignments and things like that, we tune into that frequency. So it does influence what's happening to us and for us and that kind of thing. So that's why it's important, because once again, it's all about energy. We are all energy. This entire universe is all energy. And we're learning how to navigate this universe. So these things are important in terms of markers and how like why we read cards on them, because it's like, let's get through these times as in the best shape that we can be in, right? Okay, let's get that first. All right, so let's look at the overall. I know it's funny, I just pulled this first card. Okay, interesting. So this moon, really focusing on, first step, new moon came up, and it is a new start is coming. Yeah, I mean, we've been saying, I'm pretty sure in a lot of the reads I've done for the week and that kind of things is like, there is something new on the horizon. There's no doubt about it. This is happening. A new start is is coming. So, yeah, so just fear not. It's what's happening. Okay, so we also got look at the bigger picture. I think this is referring to what I was just talking about before, about everything we're being sort of, the narratives that are being brought to us, brought to our attention, that sort of thing. Again, I've said this before, not everything out there is for us, right? If you've done a good deal of waking up already, when certain events happen, it's not a scare tactic to wake you up further. You're already awake. So it requires us not to go into fear, but it is a little bit of fear on the part of people that haven't quite blinked their little eyes open yet. The thing that's happening now is that we're sort of like gently nudging people to wake up in the nicest way that we can. But at some certain point, it's like it's it's a drip, drip, drip flood, and there's nothing we can do about that. So it's just about us keeping ourselves at our best, looking at the big picture of things in terms of, we got this last week, taking the higher perspective on things. So no matter what narrative you're following, or if you're following them all, like I know for me, I get bogged down in them, and then I tank out, and I'm just like, this is too much, and I go worst case scenario. So I know for me, it's like the bigger picture is like, none of this affects me, and it's better to just sit back and really watch and let it happen. That's the best advice I can give on that. We also got communication is key. It's a moon one too in Gemini. What do I want to say about that? I feel like it's really interesting because I don't feel like this is communication between anybody but with yourself and with the universe or source or God or whatever it is. It goes back to, again, right, what I was saying at the beginning. We need to be spending 5 minutes a day, minimal, connecting with our guides, our source energy, whatever that is, and listening. Communication isn't just about speaking, right? It's about listening. We need to be listening for the guidance to come from there, and not taking the guidance from all these narratives that are happening, and bogging ourselves down and going into fear. Because that's the thing, is like depression, frustration, all of that. When we boil that emotion down, it's all just fear. So stepping back, looking at the big picture, and realizing a lot of these things that we're watching are just sucking us in to try to distract us, so that we're not focusing on this. I'm never going to get this camera angle right. So that we're not focusing on this. We're not focusing on our communication with spirit, our connection to source, our connection to the Christ consciousness. We're too busy worrying about what's happening tomorrow, Sunday, next, on the 23rd, or there's always different dates, right? We make it harder on ourselves. That's all I'm going to say. And so when you get to that point of frustration, fear, depression, any of that, step back. Don't stop following all that stuff if that's what it needs to be for like just a day, whatever. You can go back whenever you want. But don't lose your connection to source at this time. It's so important right now. Like, I can't stress it enough. So go back there as often as you can. That's what I'm getting. And I say this too. I'm not preaching. I'm preaching to the choir here. I need to get my crap together and be more connected in that way. Yeah, here we go. It's like, again, you can't make this stuff up. That's why I love the cards. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I'm just going to sound like a broken record now because we're literally going to repeat what I just said. Okay, first step. What I want is like that, and then my arm's in the way. Okay, the spirit whisperer. It is divine guidance and higher knowing. This is the communication thing. You cannot hear this stuff if you're so bogged down in all the other noise that's coming in. There's a lot of noise right now. It's really loud. It's really hard to avoid, right? But do your best. I'm going to just encourage you guys to do your best to put your little earmuffs on and just. It's not that we're going into cognitive dissonance and going, it's not real, I don't hear anything. No. It's important for us to pay attention to that stuff. But again, the key piece is that we have to keep that connection to source. Because honestly, as soon as I start following all that stuff, I do none of my other work. Right? I find it hard to like focus and meditate and I just, so yeah, try to shut those distractions down as much as you can. Okay, we also got, though, this is kind of a paradox, so it's going to be interesting. The ringmaster of scrutiny, discernment, clear vision, and details. Like, I know, in the same breath that I'm saying, tune it out, it's still important that we're aware of what's going on. Again, so it's that, I think we talked about this last time too. It's the awareness, but not being inundated by it. This is about us finding the right balance at this time. We still have to keep our connection to source, to the universe, to that. I find, and like I said, I mostly might be talking about myself. I don't know if this resonates with you. If not, maybe some other part of this reading will. But I find as soon as I immerse myself in all that narrative and the noise gets too loud, we're not listening. We're not listening to our divine guidance. It's there for us. Again, it's, we've had to learn this discernment skill, but it's really being put to the test. So yeah, my biggest advice I can give you guys is just don't stay on one side or the other, right? And it's that bouncing between timelines. It's like, dip your foot in, listen to what's going on, but don't immerse yourself in the pool, right? Dip your toe in, come back out, go walk in the forest, connect with God, right? More important. And because the last card we got, oh my God, why can't I get this? Okay, I need like a marker where I just put it there, this side. The last one we got is the cosmos, which is, see, then I can't read them, right? Creativity and vastness. This is just, this is just reminding us, this is who we really are. And it's time for us to create this new earth. And so as much as we have to watch and let that all play out, it's like, just watch and let it play out. Don't have to involve ourselves in it. Start working on the creativity of the new beginning that we're creating, because this is what all the astrology is saying, is the new beginning is close. So we have to be actively working on that. Crazy. All right, let's look at, which one do I want to do first? I'm going to do it in this order. Okay. I always use these as sort of a set of advice for this moon, so that we can achieve that goal of really connecting with source in the universe. How do we do that? Okay. Dropping cards. Okay. So this is kind of fun. The funny part is, this is the simplest answer that I can give you, is Okay, this has come up twice with the ringmaster of scrutiny. The word details was in there. So details. Attend to the details. There's something about, again, it's like it's the manifestation process, right? Because part of, if we're distracted and we're not doing our work, is, I mean, how many of you lately have done an intention list or you know, a visioning board of what new earth looks like? Or you know I haven't, because I've been so distracted following like everything. So go back to the details of what we do want to see, not not what is trying to be created. Because that's the thing, is that when we get so lost in those narratives, then we just end up creating more of them, right? And it is being done on purpose. Like, it's hard to say this, and it hurts a little bit actually, is that we are like, we're slowing down this ascension because we're just not giving it our full attention. We're giving our full attention to other things. Yeah, that hurts. I know. Sorry. It stings. I say it all the time to myself, and then I go and spend, 10 hours watching stuff I shouldn't be watching, probably. Anyway, here's the other two bottom lines, is we need to trust. That word again came up. Trust. We're going to bounce between timelines until this energy all works itself out. Trust all will be well. That's funny. We got those two cards are both Virgo cards. So trust that all will be well. Attend to the details. And then the last one is embrace the flow of life. So, yeah, we need to just be back in that flow again, in that more positive, connected energy. So just, yeah, it's just doing simple checks and balances for ourselves, that we're not tipping our own balance to one side and being put out of balance because of that. I think that's the simplest way of saying that. All right. And then we'll do these for this moon's like, someone told me it was a super moon, but I'm not sure. A super new moon. I don't know if that's true or not. So, but if it is, it's like, it makes sense, because the way the cards are going, and that we're already at 30 minutes, is it's pretty power packed. So, yes, it's a new beginning, and yes, it's us needing to focus on making these changes for ourselves. But it's also about, really taking care of ourselves. Okay, these ones are really interesting. This one's sticking out. Okay. So it's funny. The first one that came out is enchanted. Oops, can't make this happen. Enchanted. All that's coming to me is that, like, I feel like this last little bit of January and February, like, we're with the moons and the portals and things, it's like we're just going through the motions and saying yeah, and paying lip service to all this stuff, not really doing our work. And we've lost our magic, we've lost our spark, we've lost our ability to be in awe of this process and to be enchanted by it, by, just by like, wow, this event is a once in a lifetimes event. Not everybody is going to be here to see this happen. We get to be. It's not easy. Like, I understand that, but it's like we've lost the spark of magic, of wonder. So allow this, maybe this new beginning is just in reference to this particular moon. So use these next 4 or 5 days to allow yourself to be enchanted and feel the magic again, that and the wonder and awe of this process. Again, unless you're tapping into that, you're not going to feel it, right? If we're, again, so distracted by everything else, we're not able to feel this. We need to go back to this. So whatever that means to you in terms of how we do that, we definitely got the next card is go. Oh my goodness, so right, go for it. So yeah, do it. that's the easiest way of saying it. It's like we need to, like, I think we've felt really handcuffed and restricted the last 3-4 years. And that's not even just like in our personal lives, but in our abilities, in our connection to, that connection to source is constantly under attack, psychic attack in particular, because they don't want us doing that. And so when all these distractions and stuff come in, it's like, it's going to be fine, but like, they're purposely, like, there's no other way I can say it, they're purposely trying to lower your energy so that you're not in your best form when this all goes down. And it's like, let's show them who's boss. It's us. It's us. It's us. We are the change that came, we're the ones we've been waiting for. So let's just call it enough and take off the shackles and this handcuffs and say, that's it. No more. I'm going to reach for the stars. I'm doing it. Here I go. Meant to be is our last card. Just a reminder from the universe that this is happening no matter what. So it doesn't, we don't miss it. We don't not get to be a part of it because we were too distracted. It just makes the process harder. So that is our choice in all of this, is how hard do we make it on ourselves? My ears are ringing. Yeah, okay, that's usually because I'm on to something, right? So how hard do you want to make this on yourself? We're all going through this. It's happening no matter what. It's meant to be. You were meant to be here right now. There's a reason we're here. All of those things. But it doesn't mean that it's just all like you're a chosen one and next day it's all sunshine, lollipops, rainbows, and away we go. We have work to do in this. And the work is ourselves, right? So it's up to you. If you like, I'm not here to like I'm not here chastising people and stuff, but I'm just saying the more we feed into that other narratives and stuff, it lowers our frequency. And so it just means, like, it's our choice. This is our choice completely. It isn't a bad thing to just shut it all off and ignore it. You're still going to get the big picture from watching from whatever distance. You could be up really close to the TV screen, or you can be far enough back that you see the programming and the lies, right? So yeah, it just comes down to you. Like, some people want to do things the hard way, and they do their whole life. We know those people. Some of us are those people. Some of us do, like, we don't learn unless we do things the hard way. So I'm not here to chastise you, but I am just here to let you know that it's your choice. It's all of our individual choices, right? How we fare through this, right? I'm like slapping myself on the wrist a little bit here, because it's like, do you hear yourself? Right? Do you hear yourself, Kim? You choose. You choose all the low energy or the high energy. It's completely up to you, right? Yes. All right. To finish off, we're going to look at Saturday through the lunar new year. I'm just going to see what 3 cards come up. I'll show you first. I'm going to see what's on the bottom of the deck when I do this. The reason I picked this deck is because they are like these cute little, they're butterfly dragons. So So I had to pick them for Year of the Dragon. So on the bottom of the deck, I am gonna read 3 cards. Bottom of the deck is Tranquility. So tranquility, as we all know, is finding that space of inner peace, of bliss, of quiet. Yeah, so same thing. Year of the Dragon. Interesting. Ooh, we got 2. Okay. All right. Nice. Okay. I don't know which way I want to read these. We'll save those 2 for last. Actually, we'll go with this. Okay, first up for this year of this lunar new year coming in is, can I do this better? I gotta figure this out. I don't know why I can't do this. The first one up is beginnings. So we are at the beginning of a new cycle with this Year of the Dragon. So this is when we're talking about definitely this new earth energy coming in, and that we really need to be focusing on. And it's interesting, the flower in there is the daffodil. So those are typically associated with spring. So these new beginnings are coming with spring. So that gives us just a little bit of time to start getting things going. Actually, if you live in Vancouver, you probably already have daffodils, you lucky guys. Anyway, yeah, a new beginning is coming. So we really need to like pull our socks up and get going. We also got grace. So going into this with as much ease and grace and peace as possible. I always keep ease, grace, and peace kind of in the same clumping of like emotions or words. So make sure you are. Grace also too has a lot to do with connecting to spirit, so, or to source, right? The grace of God go I. By the grace of God go I. So make sure you are incorporating a lot of grace into this new year. I don't know which one I want to read first. I'll read this one. We got protection. To me, this is just, it's, again, broken record as part of this this particular reading. It's, which is coming through really strong, is that we need to protect ourselves from falling into the trap of those lower energies. Again, sorry guys, just like I do, I sound like a broken record. But it's like, make sure your boundaries and your protections are up, because like I said, a lot of these distractions are being done purposely, right? We've talked about that. They're psychic attacks. They're trying to trip us up off our game, so we're not paying attention to things, to paying attention to what's really important. So make sure you're well protected and insulated, and that you're taking care of your spiritual needs above all. The last one we got for this Year of the Dragon on Saturday is dreams. I don't know about you, and I've been talking to many of my clients. Everybody's been having insane, crazy dreams and things. So this card, I think, is a little bit of a 2-part message. Number 1, definitely, it's hard to pay attention to those dreams because they're a little bit crazy, so they're a little bit too much. But I think what it really comes out to is that we have to keep dreaming, right? New beginnings, creating our new beginnings. So make sure you guys are dreaming, like I said, and bringing back that magic and that wonder. Like we've lost it and we need to rediscover it. So, all right, I'm going to leave it there. Take care of yourselves. Have a good weekend. Don't let it get you down, and connect to source as much as possible. Have a good night. I love you.